Once upon a time, the art of the movies was to suspend belief. Today, the art is to create belief. One of the greatest challenges in the modern cinema was to make you believe that a man could fly. They succeeded in a film called Superman.
See now.
You really shouldn't smoke, Miss Lane.
Don't tell me lung cancer, right?
Well, not yet, thank goodness.
Now, when we came to Lois Lane, and got so many people tested for Lois Lane.
Every actress in New York or Los Angeles and out of Canada who was in the appropriate age and had the quality that we were searching for read.
So this girl came in, and I mean, she didn't walk in the door, she tripped in. Margot is a klutz, a born accident waiting to happen.
I think I arrived on the set in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, which horrified Christopher. I remember being quite nervous, looking over at Superman, who was the skinniest, dorkiest thing I'd ever seen, and going, "That's Superman? Something's wrong with this picture."
Well, where are you going?
Well, I'm gonna get a coat. Isn't it kind of cold up there?
Oh, no. No, you'll be warm enough. I'll wrap you up in my cape.
Now look at yourself. You see that?
Yes.
It's a handsome, aggressive, dynamite guy who can do anything he wants to do. It's you that's standing in your way, Clark, not me.
There were so many great readings and so many excellent tests, but somehow Margot Kidder had the magic.
The one thing that always sticks in my mind about him, which I love him for, is that when I talked to him originally at the Beverly Hills Hotel, I had a mustache, and I told him that I wanted to keep the mustache. And he said, well, let me think about it, and when you come on the set, we'll discuss it. And the first day I was in England, and he was up on a big scaffolding, and I climbed up there to see him, and he says, what about the mustache? And I said, well, I don't know, I really like to keep it. And he says, if you shave your mustache, I'll shave mine. And I said, okay. So I went back to makeup, and we did all this thing. I shaved the mustache off, and I came back on the set, and we were doing the makeup test, and I said, Dick, you got to shave your mustache off. And he says, okay. And he took it, and he peeled it off. And he had set that up. I loved him for doing that. That was just great.
The Superman costume went through various changes because we were trying to perfect a look that nobody had ever done before. So it took a lot of testing and a lot of trying out of different looks and different shapes, in a way, to get to what we finally used, and trying to stick as closely to how he was drawn in the comic book.
I think with the costume, you're stuck with the fact that Superman is in tights. Chris was so disarming as Superman, so kind of shy, that you barely noticed.
All in all, there were about 25 different costumes. Some for the flying rig, some for just walking, others for flying on wires.
Alexander Salkin pronounced very early, as we were to begin shooting, about Superman, either he has a big one or he has nothing. So they put poor Christopher in this various assortment of sizes of codpiece under the suit and the red underpants. And some days Christopher come out and he'd be out to here, which would make me go ding, 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 because they were all made of metal, and Christopher would go, stop it, Kidder, stop it. Or they'd be flat, and there was this endless discussion as to the size of Superman's equipment.
It presented production problems, but actually we were smart enough to do was every time we had a set, like Fortress of Solitude, we tried to do everything in that for both pictures. So once you were done with that set and those actors, you were done. You never had to go back. So in that way, we did 1 and 2 together.
166, take 1.
Action!
Stop it!
All right, Todd. It's over.
Don't believe him, Your Grace. You don't know him the way that I do.
I sense the presence of Jor-El here. We will destroy this place. And then kill him.
The Fortress of Solitude is a place which exists in the comic books, which Mario, when in his early version of the script, was very intrigued by it and said, well, we must have it. It's quite an extraordinary place. The look of it is completely in keeping, basically, with the Krypton look from the beginning of the film, and that was basically the idea of John Barry, of just these crystals and these various levels.
The first time I ever saw Chris really fly was at Shepperton Studios, where we built Fortress of Solitude interior. They said, okay, let's try it. He took off. The takeoff and the landings were terrible. They were very difficult to coordinate the cable movement up and down and lateral and without jerking him all over the place. And he took off beautifully. It's the first time I ever saw the takeoff. And it was Chris that made all these things work, because it wasn't just this. He flew. He really flew, and he moved his arms in a very fluid way, and he came at camera, and for some reason, he actually banked his body, and he swung around this thing and flew past us. Camera stopped rolling. There was dead silence, and then like 50 people all of a sudden started just cheer.